Hello everyone and welcome to the Fish for Jobs webinar. The summer break is over and it's time to get back to work. I'm going to give you some of my favourite hints and tips to help you in your job hunt. My name's Gary and I'm the jobs expert at Fish for Jobs. If you remember my name's Gary, then you're doing better than Starbucks, who once called me Garrick for some reason. Fish for Jobs is one of the UK's leading job sites, with around 1.3 million job seekers visiting us every month. As part of the Trinity Mirror family, we're the preferred job board for over 70 newspapers, including the Daily Record, the Sunday Mail and the Mirror. This webinar will focus on getting back in the job hunt if you're stagnant in your current role, looking for a new challenge, or maybe you're out of work right now. We'll discuss how training courses can improve your prospects and what type of study might be right for you. We'll also look at how to negotiate in your current role if you're looking to move up the ladder. Throughout the webinar, I'll mention downloads that are available to take away. Look for the box on the right for relevant docs you can take away with you. So, maybe you're bored in your current role. Maybe you're looking for a new challenge, or maybe you're out of work. Getting back into the job hunt can be tough. No matter your circumstance or background, job hunting can be an intimidating, overwhelming process. It can be hard to know where to start. The good news is, with a little expert guidance, job hunting can be easy, almost enjoyable. Over the course of this webinar, I'll discuss the fundamentals, such as the type of jobs that are out there, the tools you need, and how to make the most of your experience. Don't despair. When you're not in the job you want, you might feel a bit dejected like this guy. As disheartening as it might be to hear, everyone goes through this transition at some point in their career. Let's look at some key stages in the job hunt. These are steps you need to take to get to where you eventually want to be. Number 1, identify your options. Look at what's out there. Then 2, know where to look. Where's the best resources? Number 3, get that CV and cover letter just right. Number 4, apply in the right places. Finally 5, prepare for and nail the interview. One thing to keep in mind, there is a hidden job market out there. It's estimated that 70% of jobs aren't advertised. Perhaps they're internal, they're obtained through networking and word of mouth. Maybe they're only with recruitment agencies, or perhaps referred by an existing employee. Your CV will help you here. By making sure it's visible with the right keywords and keeping the content fresh, it'll be discovered by new sources. Let's look at places you can look at to find jobs. There's a whole host of places you can find your new role. I have to start at the top, of course, with job boards. Job boards, like Fish for Jobs, are great ways to see lots of roles at once. You can save your CV and apply quickly. Then don't forget your local newspapers. They'll have a classified section which often have lots of local roles. They will also inform you about careers fairs, perhaps set up by universities, colleges, or larger employers in the area. These days, social media such as LinkedIn and Facebook can be a great source of the very latest roles, although it can be hard to find exactly what you want. Don't forget about the old school power of networking, talking to friends, or perhaps attending specific events in your area. Try sites like meetup.com to find like-minded people. You can always check the site of an employer you want to work for. Most larger companies will have a careers section somewhere on their site. And let's not forget recruitment agencies, who look after thousands of roles at once and can often help shape your CV and give you further advice of what's on the market. Before you start getting your job search done, have a check at how you come across on social media networks. 80% of employers Google candidates before the interview, so it's probably a good idea that you Google yourself. A little aside here, I offered an interview to someone. I then, a few hours later, went looking on their Twitter account and saw that they'd run down the company that they were going for an interview for on Twitter. Needless to say, I cancelled the interview. So you've got to make sure your social media is cleaned up. That might mean changing the privacy settings on Facebook, or perhaps deleting tweets that aren't right for new employers to see. You might want to also consider using professional names, for example, in your email address. davesmith@gmail.com sounds and looks more professional than turbodave222@hotmail.com. Let's get back to basics, the all-important CV. Get your contact details in there. A name, email address, and number are exactly what you need. If you want a recruiter to get in touch, they need to make it easy. The personal statement is your chance to shine. It's a paragraph about you and how you're the perfect candidate. More on this in a minute. Then be sure to follow this with your education. If it was a while ago, summarize. A few lines of qualifications will do. Next is skills, which is important. Keep it brief, but list the things that are critical to the role. Focus on results rather than daily duties. What did you achieve? How did you make a difference? And so on. Instead of, I did daily sales reports, say, my daily sales reporting helped identify 10 new business opportunities every week. It's about showing things that happened rather than stuff you did. Then list your work experience in reverse chronological order. List your hobbies and interests, but only if they're relevant. I'll speak more about this later. And don't feel like you have to list your references. Just list that references are available on request. Check the downloads area for more CV templates to give you some inspiration on what to write. Okay, sell yourself on paper. You have a strong story to tell. Your roles, your projects, extracurricular activities, voluntary work and hobbies can all contribute to the sales pitch. If it matches the job criteria, it counts. Putting a professional spin on your out-of-work activities can help crank up your credentials enormously. Arranging a local charity event, for example, demonstrates an attractive range of skills and attributes, from budget planning and supplier management to delivering on a deadline. And with that, here's 5 things not to do on your CV. Number 1, bad formatting, bad layout. There's no perfect layout, just to be clear. One size doesn't fit all. But make sure it's easy to scan and not a big wall of text. Use bullet points and work in a chronological order. 2 pages is a good guideline, but it is a guideline, not a rule. If yours has to flow over to 2.5, that's better than missing something out that's important. And do lead with the best stuff first. Speaking of formatting, don't go too mad. Don't stick out for the wrong reasons. This one will get passed around the office, but not for the reason you want. Mistake number 2, only having one CV. You should tailor your CV for different roles. Unless you're applying for an exact replica of the role you're currently in, it's unlikely your CV will best represent you for your next move. Save slightly different versions of the CV, emphasizing certain roles, projects or achievements more relevant to the role you're applying for. Use the Save As feature of your word processing software to keep your tweaked versions. Look at the job description and change the emphasis. But to be clear, don't lie. You'll get caught out. Just stress different parts of your work experience to reflect the job description. Mistake number 3, no personal profile. Sometimes called the personal profile or career summary, this is what helps you stand out. By clarifying to an employer who you are and what you bring to the business, this will get your CV to the top of the pile. Everyone's CV can look the same. A short paragraph at the top of your listing can make all the difference to getting selected over someone else with similar skills. This is your elevator pitch, the hook to get your reader to continue. Do check out the downloads for more advice on this section. Mistake number 4, poor spelling and grammar. It's a guarantee to get your CV thrown straight in the bin if there are typos or basic grammar mistakes on it. The most common complaint from recruiters and employers is poor spelling and grammar. Check and check again. Even better, ask someone else to double check your document. And here's some examples I've found from around the internet. I'm not going to read them all out, but suffice to say, if you don't thoroughly proof your CV or cover letter, you're probably going to land yourself in trouble. Mistake number 5, being too personal. date of birth, marital status, whether you have children or not, national insurance number, passport number, are all information that are not required of a CV. You don't need to be that personal. The extra information can help you avoid falling victim to discrimination about your age, sex, religion, or nationality. Also, a photo is generally not required. Some industries do, but as a rule, you don't need to include a photo with your CV. Unnecessary information. Here are some examples going into too much detail. And when it comes to the hobbies section, you might want to list everything you've ever done, every club you've ever attended, but actually we're looking for relevant things that contribute to your work. So examples could be you're the captain of a school team, which demonstrated leadership. Perhaps you did the Duke of Edinburgh Award, which demonstrates commitment. Perhaps you did some volunteer or community work, which shows a proactive and helpful approach. If all of your hobbies don't fit the role, then just list one or two as something to talk about in the interview. It's a common thing for employers to use to figure out who you are. With the CV sorted, let's look at the cover letter. Cover letters are the way to make your applications stand out. So, should I bother with cover letters? The simple answer is yes. The majority of candidates don't include one, so it sets you apart. When they're receiving a great big pile of CVs, a cover letter can help show what's different about you. It's a snapshot of your skills, your achievements and qualifications that make you relevant for this role. And always include cover letters when applying for jobs on job sites. Your CV can look quite anonymous. A cover letter, again, can just help you stand above the others. Cover letter 101. Keep it short and sweet. Cut out the flowery language, the unnecessary detail, and give the people what they want. That is, an explanation of why you'd like the job and why you're qualified for the job. Cover these two key points and you're gold. Emphasize the skills and experience relevant to the vacancy. For example, if you're applying for a position in retail, you should definitely big up the time you worked at Tesco. However, if you're going for an editorial role, you obviously want to admit these small odd jobs you've worked and give special attention to your writing gigs. A casual tone is not advised in a cover letter. Try to avoid slang or jargon. Be absolutely clear and concise with a professional tone. If you haven't already, then proofread your cover letter and get someone else to look over it as before. Don't miss out on your dream job because you got sloppy. Check the downloads for more examples. Selling yourself in person. Okay, your cover letter drew them in, your CV sealed the deal. Now let's look at the interview itself. And going into an interview, it's crucial you're wearing the right attire. Don't wear t-shirts, jeans or trainers. Avoid loud or crazy patterns. Don't be remembered for the wrong reasons, and practice good hygiene. Some quick tips on what to wear. Appropriate attire for a woman include a suit, dress or blouse tucked into a skirt. For men, the safest choice is a suit in black, navy or grey. And don't forget the tie. When it comes to shoes, wear shoes that are comfortable but look smart. Flats or heels are fine for women. Men can wear black or brown shoes that go with their suit. And when it comes to your hair, make sure you're well groomed for the interview. Men, shave that 5 o'clock shadow. If you have a beard and would like to keep it, make sure it's trimmed and well kept. Women can have their hair up or down. There generally isn't a preference, so long as it's neat and tidy. So here are some frequently asked questions that always come up in interviews. Tell me about yourself. You might feel like this is the time to sit back and tell your life story. Actually, think sharp and succinct. A short summary of your work and education that highlights top achievements and relevant experience. Why should we hire you? Take this chance to show off your strengths. You should look at the job description to give you a good idea of the things that will make the employer sit up and take notice. Then pinpoint examples from your career, perhaps leading projects or supervising co-workers, that demonstrate you're the best candidate for the position. What are your weaknesses? An easy trap to fall into this one. Avoid cliches and keep your answer positive. Acknowledge that you're short on skills, but describe what you're doing to build on strengths. For example, if you lack management experience, describe the course you're taking, a recent role as team leader or project that required you to coordinate a group. Why do you want this job? Do your homework for this one. Browse the company's website. Visit a store. Get to know their products. Take time to find out what the business does, how and where they do it and what they stand for, and explain how your own career aims and personality are a perfect fit. The research will demonstrate a serious candidate and is well worth doing. Give me an example. Perhaps when you dealt with a difficult customer, used your initiative, turned a negative into a positive. It's difficult to know what the recruiter will ask here. But if you look at the job description and think about your work history, you can probably come up with a whole host of examples you can work in to answer these questions. Do check the downloads for our takeaway guide. Common interview mistakes. Poor body language. Slouching or picking your nose is not going to go over well with your prospective employer. Failing to do your homework. Research the company. Look for press releases or check their social media profiles to see what they've been up to. Knowledge of what the company is doing really helps you stick out in the mind of the employer. And do stay positive. Sometimes you give an answer to a question, and while they're asking the next question, you think, oh, I didn't answer that right. Don't worry about it. Move forward, move on. You don't know what they're thinking. Just stay positive. Keep that smile. Again, we have to download all about this to cover off these points. Let's take a minute to talk about training courses. Another way to refresh your job hunt and get back to work is through a training course. It helps you stay in job shape, boost your skills, start a new career, or increase your negotiating power at your existing role. Why should I get training? Well, it can increase the quality of your work, increase the ability for you to negotiate a salary, help you adapt to change in your industry, or reach new markets. You may be able to ask your current employer to use training budget, or you may wish to spend your own money. It's a great way to rejuvenate your career, leap into new one, or put you in a prime position to be promoted. Or you may just wish to do it for your own personal satisfaction and fulfillment. There are two main ways of receiving training. Classroom training, where the tutor stands at the front and the delegates sit at desks, is a great way to have a shared experience with others. So it might be a good networking opportunity. With a setup like this, you can ask questions whenever you want, although you will have to follow the defined schedule of the class. There's also online training, where you can go at your own pace, review whenever you want. Support is often available by email or chat, and it's often cheaper than classroom training. From health and safety to project management, from accounting to IT, we have a wide range of courses at Fish for Jobs. Go to fish4.co.uk and click courses to browse our range. Well, I hope you're now in the mood to get back to work. If there's a work question I haven't answered today, then do catch us on Twitter at Fish for Jobs and use the hashtag #BackToWork, and we'll answer your career questions. Thanks for coming to the webinar today. Check out the downloads, and I'll see you next time.